Again, welcome to those who have just joined us live on Facebook. For those who are new to SGC, Spiritual Group Cultivation, it's where we have short puja, short meditation, and some would say not so short Dharma sharing. Yeah. So SGC started off as a platform for the English-speaking Buddhist community in Singapore. Yeah. We hope that this can help those who the younger generation, those who are more English speaking, to learn the Buddha Dharma. And you'll notice that for the puja we actually have English and Chinese, and the Pali chanting. So it is so that we don't lose touch with either tradition, because these two major traditions are very crucial. So some of you asked, there seems to be something up here. So this is actually the whiteboard. Yeah. So today's topic, what is today's topic? Today's topic is on birth, rebirth, and reincarnation. Yeah. So one of the students asked, May Wong asked this question. Yeah. Let me try to pull it out. So May Wong asked, I think it's she, would like to clarify on rebirth, reborn, and reincarnation, and referring to traditions like Mahayana, Theravadan, and Tibetan. So the Four Noble Truths and the Law of Dependent Originations are to be learned, understood, and concentrated to gain enlightenment of the Buddha's teachings. Then why are the different realms often mentioned in learning the teachings? Yeah. So I wonder if May is online today. Is that person online? As usual, the student who asks the question usually disappear. Yeah. So I'm going to just share on this topic, today's topic. Rebirth and 6 realms. And then I will probably touch a bit on the significance of the 6 realms. There's echo. Oh yeah, how come got so much problem? Okay, no more echo. So now no more echo. What to do? Our combined karma is like that. No, actually this is a new software I'm trying. It's called what is it called? This is a new software called XSplit Broadcaster. Yeah, I was originally gonna use the Logitech broadcasting. So, but I found this other software. Rather, I used to use it like 6 years ago for the live streaming in the monastery. Okay, so rebirth and the 6 realms. As I'm going through, feel free to ask questions if you all have any, because this is a very broad topic. So first of all, how is rebirth and the 6 realms linked? So first thing, what are the 6 realms? So there's the heavenly realm, heavenly beings, and then we have the human, we have the Asura, and then we have the ghost or hungry ghost. And then we have the animal realm, and we have hell realm. So these are 6 different realms. In the Pali Canon, Asura realm is split between the heavenly and the animal realm. So for the most part, I think today in most tradition we talk about the 6 realms quite commonly. The 6 realms is not simply 6 separate ones. There's actually 6 groups. So we belong to the human realm. Then in animal realm there's a whole range of different beings. In hungry ghost realm there's also a whole range of different beings that exist. Is the video still working? It's still okay, because on my browser it seems to have frozen. Yeah. Okay, seems to be working fine. Let me switch off so make sure that. Okay, so in the Chinese tradition or in the Chinese culture, we have this wrong view that after we die, we tend to think that after we die, we become ghosts. And then as a ghost, we go to the hell to receive our posting. So 六道轮回. So 6 realms is 六道. 六道众生. So the wrong view, this here I'm talking about wrong view, okay? Chinese, we have this wrong view that after human die, after we die, we become ghosts. Then as a ghost, we go to hell. Then to receive our posting. This is not what was taught by the Buddha, not what was observed by the Buddha. Hungry ghost is a separate realm altogether. So if after you die, you don't necessarily become a ghost. Okay, you can be reborn as a ghost if you have a lot of attachment, you have a lot of craving and attachment. You can be reborn as a heavenly being also. So you become one of the gods. You can be reborn as an asura, as an animal. Or you can be reborn in hell. Or you can also be reborn as a human being again. Okay, so it doesn't mean that after dying you must become ghost. So don't keep on thinking about, after you die then you can get a lot of kim chua and stuff like that. Which also means that you don't have to worry so much about whether your descendants burn kim chua or not. And for that matter, on the related note, I think this had been brought up by many venerables over the years. But old habits die hard. The burning of incense paper is an expression of our devotion and piety towards our departed one. But the act by itself doesn't help our departed loved ones in tangible ways, really. Yeah. What would be more meaningful is for us to do to do it on their behalf, or to use their resources. Yeah, that means that if they leave behind anything, to help them do charity instead. Yeah, but having said that, when I get invited to go to perform a service at the wake, I don't go around criticizing the Akong Ama or the elderly father mother when they do fold the incense paper. Instead, I encourage them. Yeah, I tell them it is good that they have this kind thought. But another way, one way to fold the kim choi is you fold and then you chit chat and you gossip. That is not meritorious. Okay, if you fold and chit chat and gossip, it's not meritorious. But if you are folding, you have kind thoughts, you have loving thoughts, and your speech, you recite the Buddha's name, you recite some sutras while you are folding, then that's meritorious. Yeah, then you can dedicate merits to your departed one. So then goals and hell beings are different also. Goals and hell beings are different. Hell beings are hell beings, goals are goals. But goals and hell beings sometimes quite related in a way, because in some suttas they talk about how hell beings after perishing in hell, they are reborn in the hungry ghost realm. But it depends on individual's karma. Also, it's not like after hell definitely must go hungry ghosts. Yeah. So some after hell rebirth, they are reborn as animal. Some after hell reborn in human realm. There are some instances where the being after rebirth in hell is reborn in heavenly birth. Yeah. But the question that this student posed today is, let me pull it up, is so with reference to the teachings, right? Why is it that the various realms are often mentioned? Yeah. So there are different reasons why the different realms are mentioned. First and foremost, by and large, we can say that the teachings we know as a human being is directly applicable to us as humans. For the very reason that we possess the full faculties required to learn and practice the Buddha Dhamma. We don't have the rebirth obstacles where our rebirth is too good or too bad. Yeah, we're not experiencing extreme pain and suffering, so we are able to practice. But we are also not experiencing too much pleasure, such that we indulge in enjoyment of the senses. So in the sutta, the Buddha often mentioned about the various realms. In part, sometimes it's because individuals come to talk to the Buddha and ask the Buddha about the different realms. So the Buddha explained, first of all, the nature of the different realms. Yeah. So in brief, you can say that heavenly and human rebirth is pleasant. Asura is somewhat pleasant also, yeah, but because of the nature of their temperament, they cannot quite enjoy the rebirth. The hungry ghost, animal, and hell rebirth is the lower realm, what we call the three lower realms, San Er Dao. So these three lower realms is usually wrought in suffering. So we have just now someone asked about these 6 realms in Chinese. So we have 天人阿修罗，这个恶鬼畜生地狱，or sometimes we say 地狱恶鬼畜生。So these 6 realms. So the Buddha highlight these 6 realms to highlight to us, first of all, the nature of these 6 realms, and then also what is the origin of these 6 realms? Yeah, origin not in the sense who created these 6 realms, but rather how do we end up in these 6 realms? So the Buddha described how if we observe the 5 precepts and the 10 wholesome deeds, we can be reborn in the human and heavenly realm. Yeah, but heavenly realm, there are different levels to it. If you want to be reborn in the form and formless realm, then you need to practice meditation on top of observing 5 precepts and 10 wholesome deeds. The Buddha also described how you can be reborn in the lower realms. So by committing the 10 unwholesome deeds, by committing the 5 heinous deeds, and so on. Basically, if you are very strong in greed, hatred, and delusion, the defilements are very strong, then your next life high propensity to be reborn in those realms. So, besides talking about how these realms come about, the Buddha will also teach how these realms can come to an end. Come to an end not in the sense of destruction, but how can we stop being reborn in these realms? So, for a start, most people don't want to be reborn in the 3 lower realms. So the Buddha teach us the precepts, teach us the 10 wholesome deeds, and the bulk of this is actually found in the first part of the Noble Eightfold Path under right view. What is wholesome, what is unwholesome. Then, if we can practice the 5 precepts, the 10 wholesome deeds, we remove the conditions for us to be reborn in the lower realms. 10 wholesome deeds include right view. So the Buddha teaches the ending. That means how to not be reborn in the specific realms. So how about heavenly and human rebirth? Do we want to be reborn in them? The ultimate goal of arahanthood, then we stop all rebirth in this cyclical existence. So but before that happens, if we cannot prevent, if we cannot stop the rebirth yet, then better make sure that you are reborn in a happy realm for a start. The other thing that the Buddha highlighted about the 6 realms is, if you look at the 6 realm structure, in most religion there are similar setup, although the way we understand these 6 realms may differ. And one of the key differences, none of these realms, as the Buddha saw it, is permanent. None of the realms are permanent. So one of the key features that the Buddha observed is that they are all impermanent, or 无常. And on top of that, at a certain level, they are also all suffering. So while we can say that the lower group are the realms that has more suffering, but the top one, the heavenly realm and the human realm, and to some extent the Asura realm, so while they have more happiness, but these are temporal happiness also. So in a way, when the Buddha gave this teaching on the 6 realms, it is to highlight to us that the samsaric existence is non-ideal. We tend to get caught up with this. In this, I think in this period, hard not to talk about the current situation. When we see the different countries falling prey to the COVID-19, you see very similar response. All cover in fear in the face of impending death. The moment the virus hit their country, there's no country that stand up and say, no, it's okay, we are not afraid of dying. I say this with a heavy heart. This is the fact of our human existence, which the Buddha observed 2,600 over years ago. Sometimes when we think about the Buddha's teaching, for some people it may seem like, people keep talking about suffering, even talk about the 6 realms, talk about the 3 lower realms, then the upper realms, but then in the end, even the heavenly and human rebirth still say there's suffering. But it's true, isn't it? Some students ask me, is it possible that in future that maybe science may overcome old age, sickness and death? Maybe, I don't know. Future, we can only find out in future. I sometimes like to do this. You see, when people start to talk about these speculative questions, there's a tendency for people to start arguing about whether it's like this or like that. But my approach, for me, I tend to like to approach it in this way. Let's consider, if what the Buddha said is true, then we don't have to discuss anymore. It's just as he said, right? But what if in future science really overcome aging, sickness and death? Then does it mean that all the realms will become permanent? Then as human beings will live for a few thousand years or in perpetuity? Let's say it happens. I think if it happens, the Buddha's teaching will be even more relevant. Because can you imagine, the neighbor that you don't like, you have to live with them forever, then all the more you need to learn how to live with one another, isn't it? Now at least, Amitofwa, at least everything impermanent. No matter how you like or you don't like, at some point you separate ways. You go separate ways. Not, but imagine if all of us live forever. Then I think we better learn more Dharma first. Then we can live forever happily. Otherwise we'll be suffering forever, you know. Yeah. So and so this is one key part that is quite different from other religion, yeah, which is that the different realms, in particular, the heavenly and the hell rebirth is not a permanent state, or not a permanent state, but rather they are just a transient temporal state. The heavenly state and the hell state is often described to be astronomically long, yeah, but still temporal. So in order to be reborn in heavenly realm, you must be really very kind, very good, very pure, very wholesome. But no matter how, that merit is still finite. So it still produces a finite rebirth. Likewise, a person can do a lot of evil, but no matter how evil, that evil is still finite. So the rebirth in hell is very long, but still finite. So there's a question, how to let my late cat of 18 years be reborn in human rebirth? I did a 49 days of Mito Jing to her, and then on and off Hui Xiang to her. Can she be reborn in human realm? Must I still Hui Xiang to her after 1 year of her passing? So Rosie has this very good question. First of all, sorry to hear of your cat passing. It's been 1 year. I think whether it's our family cat or our family loved ones, we all want the best for them, isn't it? Yeah. We hope that we are able to, first of all, know where they are going, and if it's not a good place, we hope that we can influence, maybe change that. I think that's a very kind thought. So in the Buddhist tradition, we say that if you truly want to benefit your loved ones who have passed away, you can do wholesome meritorious deeds, and perhaps Alison suggests that we can put the your screen as the main screen. Okay, so you all can see me, huh? Okay, let's see. Is this better? So yeah, so back to the question. Yeah, so we wish to help them to be reborn in a happier realm. The Buddhist approach is we do meritorious deeds and do dedication, but there's a crucial part here, which is the person, the being, whether it's our family cat, our family, our loved ones, friends, they must connect with this wholesome deed. Yeah, that means they must agree to it. Yeah, they must resonate with it. You think about it. So this is the Buddhist principle. For them to receive merits, so-called to receive, they must connect with that. So when they connect with it and they rejoice in it, then they generate the wholesome merits also. Because if it's possible for us to simply transfer things over, merits, without the person agreeing or disagreeing, then can we dedicate the merit to people? Cannot. You think about it, merits we hope it's possible. The recipient don't have to do anything, and then someone kind do something and just transfer over. We hope that that's possible. But if that's possible, then what's stopping demerits from being transferred? It doesn't make sense. So the recipient must connect, and it's the connection that generates merits for them. And that's why in the past path it talk about the 忏悔, right? It says, 若只作, 若教他作, 见作随喜, 勿见罪, and so on and so forth. 若他若身. So there's a 见作随喜. Yeah? When you see someone doing something and you rejoice in it, whether it's wholesome or unwholesome, if it's wholesome and you rejoice in the good deed that has been done, your rejoicing generates merit. Yeah, how wonderful. But if you see someone doing something bad, you rejoice in it, you also generate the demerit. Yeah, because you are planting the seed of agreeing to wholesome, agreeing to unwholesome actions. So you are planting seeds, and that itself is the merit. Must I still 回向 to her after 1 year of her passing? Quite a few students have asked me this question. Yeah. Do we have to do it forever until we die? Can we do it? Can we stop after, I don't know, after 100 days, after 3 years, after 10 years, or after 1 year? There's no strict stipulation how many years. Yeah. We usually say we hope that we hope the departed have taken rebirth and they are well already. But I think you can ask yourself, do you still care for that person, whether it's your family cat or your parents, your grandparents? If you still care, then just do a puja for them, you know. Think of them when you're doing it, and on that basis, yeah, it's because of them that you're doing this puja, and so within this practice, your body, speech and mind is somewhat purified, then you can dedicate merits to them. Yeah, you can wish for them to be well, to be happy. Yeah. Yeah, so if you ask me, the question of must you do what, I say you must get enlightened. Can or not? You must not be unhappy. That's more important. You must not be harmful to others. You must practice the Noble Eightfold Path. This is what you must. Okay, I'm going to just put a like on those questions that I've covered so that I can easily scroll through and I know the ones that I've already covered. So, is Pure Land and Heavenly is Pure Land in heavenly realms? That is a interesting question which have been asked before also. So, strictly speaking, Pure Land is defined to be out of samsara. Yeah, but the descriptions, there's actually a very interesting parallel. In the classical teachings, we say that the third stage anagami, the non-returner, after passing away, will be reborn from human realm, be reborn in the form world, yeah, as a heavenly being in the pure abbots, yeah. 无尽居天, 无尽居天. Let me write it down. So this question of净土 and 天人. So In the classical teaching, we talk about the five pure abbot. We call it the 五境居天. This is heavenly, this is pure land, and the 五境居天 is the five pure abbot. So let me explain a bit. What is the basis why in the Pure Land tradition we say that Pure Land is outside of samsara? It is described to be outside of samsara because Pure Land existence and samsaric existence differ in one very key thing, which is in the samsaric existence, let's say in any of the realms, your duration is due to your karma, and firstly, and your next rebirth is also due to your karma, and both are triggered by your defilements. So how about Pure Land? Pure Land is a very interesting state, because in the description of Pure Land, the rebirth there is not due to your karma, as in like samsaric karma, also not due to your defilements, but due to your vows, plus the Buddha's vow. So both vows together, plus 不得少善根福德因缘 yeah, plus your wholesome merits, your wholesome cultivation. So all that together, then you get reborn in Pure Land. So it differs in this particular way, not because of your greed, hatred, and delusion. And further, once you are reborn in Pure Land, it is described that you don't get reborn into other realms because there's no trigger for your defilements. Yeah. So basically, it's a one-way ticket, and the way I see it, it's those of you who have attended the Pure Land class that I conducted a couple of years back, you would recall. You know the 弥陀经, yeah? Rosie mentioned you chant 弥陀经 several times, right? Yeah. So the 阿弥陀经, if you look at the 阿弥陀经 itself, the way I look at it, it is a prospectus guide. Prospectus guide to Pure Land. Yeah. So it's like before you enter university, before you go to NTU, NUS, SMU, SIM, and so on, sometimes, you know, if you are the potential candidate, then you may receive in your mail, or you go for open house and you receive the flyer, a booklet describing the university, and they'll tell you about a bit of the background of the university, what it is strong in, the various faculties, yeah, the faculty members, their facilities, and also their students and alumni. Yeah, students meaning who are the, you know, from where do they have their students from? Oh, our students are all from the Ivy League, you know, our students are all from the top 5% of the cohort, and so on and so forth. And who are our alumni? Then they may highlight a few of the alumni, those who have graduated. What are they doing now? Yeah, how are they contributing to society? Yeah, so sometimes you see those flyers, yeah, or booklets. Now, if you look at the Amitabha Sutra, it's very similar. Yeah, the Buddha described that in the western direction, there's a distant world, some distance away, called the land of supreme joy. Yeah, supreme joy, 极乐世界. And in that world, there's a presiding Buddha, like the dean, you know, or the chancellor. Yeah, and that is Amitabha Buddha. and supporting him are various bodhisattvas. From other sutras we know Guan Yin Pusa and Da Si Zi Pusa are the vice chancellor, the 左右手. And among them, then there are other Maha Bodhisattvas. But besides Bodhisattvas, there are also Pachika Buddhas, there are also Arahants who are practicing that. There are also those cultivators of various fruits who are practicing that. So then the text talk about the facilities that over there, the scenery, you know, and then there's all the trees, the pond. The description are all, wow, that place, wonderful. Yeah. The best thing is that you don't have to work. You never talk about that you have to pay rent. You never talk about you having to buy house or anything. You don't have to work. So it's like a retreat center, except that it's not a temple. It's not even just a country. It's a world system. Yeah, it's a world system level retreat center. Yeah. Retreat center, training all those potential future Buddhas. So when we recite this sutra, you will get a bit of a flavor of, okay, so how is it like to be there? Yeah, and the purpose of this sutra is to instill faith that while our current state is not so ideal, that there are beings who have set up a place that is very ideal. Yeah, but it's not a free trip. Yeah, because the requirement is that your aim is to later on attain Buddhahood. Yeah, so in a way we can say that it's not like just go there and enjoy yourself and then kiao ka. No. So in that sense, it's not like pure. It's not like heavenly realm, because you're not there to enjoy yourself. You're there to practice. Yeah, really there to practice, and practice not just for yourself to attain Buddhahood, but so that you can attain Buddhahood and be of service to others. So there are various suttas and various masters who then highlight that if you were to practice and apply the teachings to your life now, then what happened? 心净国土净. Meaning, if we were to learn and practice the Buddha Dhamma now in this life, not wait until next life, then you see that this world is Pure Land. This world is already Pure Land. We are in Pure Land already. Even this body that we have bring out the teachings. Yeah. 诸行无常, 诸法无我, 涅槃寂静, all embodied in this body. Yeah. Sabbe sankhara anicchati, that all formations are impermanent. This body embodies that. All the things we possess, the very screen you are looking at is impermanent. The very place you are in, whether it's at home, in a meeting room, yeah, or in a train or somewhere, is impermanent. Yeah. So everything that you can see, hear, smell, taste, touch, or think about, all embodies the Buddha Dhamma. And if you can connect in that way, then internally purified, externally become purified. And if we can practice, not so quickly step by step, and then gradually you will see a transformation yourself. Then at that point in time, related to this question, some people have the question, so Shifu, sure or not, is that really Pure Land? Can you be sure? If you practice gradually, then yes, you can be sure. Li Wong is online. So Shifu, can I say the nature and structure of different realms are parables to parables explanation to the 5 skandhas? whereby there are 5 elements in all beings that we have to practice liberation in. No. So this question, Mei Wong has this question: are the different realms parable for the 5 skandhas? I don't see any basis for that. Yeah. I don't see that in the Pali Canon. I don't see that in the Mahana Sutra. Yeah. So, short answer, no. Unless there are other sutras I'm not aware of. 5 elements. So usually when we talk about physical body, there's the 4 elements: 地水火风, earth, water, fire, wind. And then there's the 5 or 6 element: 地水火风空识. Yeah. So earth, water, fire, wind, space, and then consciousness. Yeah. The 6 elements then embody the whole world. Oh. The last thing I want to touch on the 6 realms is, in many of the sutra where the Buddha specifically refer to animal realm, oftentimes is with reference to his past life. Not so much to the 5 aggregates, but to the past, to his own past life. And he may then say, in the past, there was this, let's say, there was this rabbit, yeah, and there was this lion, and a whole bunch of animals, yeah. And then at the end of the account, he would then share, in the past, so and so is the rabbit, the Buddha was the lion. Yeah, he would bring out past life to teach a certain point. So other than that, perhaps Mei Wong, if you know of any sutra references that describe the different realms as parables explaining the 5 skandhas, maybe you can bring it up. If it's commentary, I would defer to the suttas. If commentary, that means something that was taught by the later masters, if it contradicts or if it's different from what the Buddha teach, I would usually go for what the Buddha teach. The Buddha's teaching should always be taken as, you know, the standard. So Shifu, Rosie asks further, dedication to my ancestors, I still continue doing dedication. But I refer to my cat, some say animals not allowed. Animals not allowed? Some temples, for some reasons, they only have the 祖先牌 for 祖先. Sometimes actually it's not the temples that have such restriction, you know. It's we have the problem. Like imagine for some families, right? You go and buy the Akong, then next to the Akong they see a cat. Then I feel like, my Akong become same level as a cat. This is our own attachment. In the Buddhist teaching we say 众生皆有佛性. Then 地藏菩萨 also want to liberate hell beings. Then we say cat cannot liberate. But if you go to certain temples, you respect their arrangements lah. If this temple don't let you do dedication to your cat, then you go other temple lor. If no temple allow, I do dedication for you lah, for your cat lah. Don't have to be so particular. Why can't that temple do it for me? I want that temple to do it for me. Then this insistence is your problem. The temple have a right to say I don't want, because they may have other circumstances that they have to attend to, like what I described. Maybe the temple, the community have no issue, But maybe a lot of the elders over there, they haven't wrapped their head around ma. We can say, no lah, Sifu, you should teach them. If they haven't learned it, how? If they are still attached to Ma Gong is here, next to them must be all, you know, related one. Then you go and put a nyao there. Then how? So, my guess, this is my guess, okay? But I always remember what a teacher used to tell us. Whenever people say like this, like that, then he will say, who said? Yeah, who said that? And then when my peers say, oh, they say, who is they? Yeah, so you say, some say animals not allowed. Who are the some? Who are the some? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know of any sutras that specifically say that we are not allowed to do dedication for animals. So for animals, how about radiate our metta to them? Yes, we can do that definitely. And I would say better to radiate metta to animals while they are alive than after they die. Although after they die, good to radiate. How do we radiate metta to animals before they die? So before they die, don't eat them, then they don't die. I'm not trying to emotionally blackmail you into becoming vegetarian, but you know what I'm saying? If we say may all beings be well and happy, wow, this KFC very nice. The beef rendang very nice. Then after we eat them, then we say, oh, may the cow and the chicken be reborn in a happier realm in pure land. But do what you can. Try. Okay, try. Maybe once a week, radiate metta to them by not eating them. You think about it, lor. You think about it. Now you see, let's say, like in Singapore, we don't really see wild animals. Okay. Let's say you go to some countries and then you see a wild cat. When I say wild cat, I'm not talking about the small wild cat. I'm talking about bobcat, like a small lion, you know. And then the lion, somehow, let's say the lion can talk, and the lion tell you, don't worry, I have metta for you. But I want to eat you. Which one do you feel first? Do you feel the metta, or do you feel the fangs first? Yeah. So if we want to radiate metta, maybe start off once a week or twice a week. You know. Yeah. Radiate metta to animals by not eating them. Hi Shifu, if we are able to achieve enlightenment and realize emptiness in this life, is it that, I presume this is it that we will not be returned to samsara anymore? Can I ask, if such situations seem like extinction, what will we become after achieving such state? Like we are like totally gone? I can't imagine how such situation or nirvana look like. Yes. Celine Yong asked this question: what happened after we attain enlightenment? So this question has been asked many times since the Buddha's period. The Buddha's standard answer is he don't answer. That is irrelevant to your enlightenment. So one challenge about this question is we are trying to imagine and figure out how it's like to be enlightened without being enlightened. Yeah. So yeah, it's very tricky. Yeah. So, but what I can say is, it's not like extinction. Yeah. Because the question, is such a situation same like extinction itself, right? This question is based on the premise that we identify with this body as I. Enlightenment, once you attain enlightenment, you don't identify with this body or anything in this world as you. So the question itself, the premise itself is inadmissible, is invalid. Yeah. So what will we become after we achieve such a state? Similarly, this itself is tied to the premise of identification. Yeah. Like we are totally gone. What is the we? We usually refer to this body, our existence. So this series of questions the Buddha don't directly answer. In the Mahayana tradition, we say that enlightenment is basically the end of suffering. It is actually then just the start. The start where you start to really benefit sentient beings. Yeah. Benefit sentient beings by not being so preoccupied with ourselves. Yeah. Not just you, Celine. All of us. All of us. So, yes, it is difficult to imagine how such a situation would be like. But instead of imagining how the situation would be like, just consider, if your concern is not with yourself, but with the suffering of sentient beings, on how to benefit sentient beings, that is the situation. Then how you exist don't matter anymore. Whether you exist or not, how you exist don't matter anymore. Can I understand? It's just like if you are a teacher, if you're now a student and you want to become a teacher, when you become a teacher, your concern is whether the students learn, not whether you will be with the students in future. But as a student, our considerations for how being a teacher is may be totally different from how it's really like being a teacher. Yeah, those who are teachers would know. It's quite different from how we may initially imagine. But nirvana is not something for us to imagine. It's for us to attain. So go and attain enlightenment. And it's not about after you die. Here and now, go and attain. Okay, let me look for other questions. How come suddenly there's the random you are best, Sifu, you are the best? What did I do? Okay. May all be well and happy, El Tan says. Celine Yong says, I will take note in my practice. Thanks a lot. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, I think I'll just like anyway. Okay, I think we have covered all the questions. And not a moment too soon, 3:15. Alright, so we'll stop here and I will switch over to begin the Diamond Sutra broadcast. I hope everybody is keeping well, washing your hands. But don't just wash your hands, wash your heart. Yeah, we wash our face every day. Yeah, if there's dirt on our face, we would immediately wash it. Our hands, we'll keep it clean. And now with COVID-19, we are, even more concerned, because we are concerned that these dirty hands will cause us to become infected. Even more important, or at least as important, wash our heart. Purify our heart, purify our body, speech, and mind. Because if our hands are clean, then only the body is healthy. Healthy body, but if the mind is dirty, then we can live a long time and harm many people, you know. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing. Yeah. So if we wash our hands, keep our body healthy, we live longer, healthier, then we better make sure our heart is clean also. Then we can benefit more people instead of harming more people. Yeah, so take care of yourself. We'll do dedication. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，普愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛。起立。